So we've been hitting this thing, and gold prices are just going to go up because the world is so uncertain. And it's only getting worse. They see it coming. They say gold is a natural alternative that we've been saying. And now, you ready? London's bullion trade to trial digital form of gold. This is in today's Financial Times. The World Gold Council is seeking to launch a digital form of gold, a move that could revolutionize London's $900 billion physical market for the precious metal by creating a new way to trade, settle, and collateralize bullion. This is big. They're going digital with this too. And this could really hurt the cryptocurrencies. This is very important to watch. This has just been announced.
Gerald Celente has been warning for years that the global financial system is heading toward dragflation, declining growth mixed with rising prices. And as of today, September 8th, 2025, everything he predicted is unfolding right in front of us. Gold is sitting just under $3,600 an ounce, brushing record highs. Bitcoin is still holding around $110,000, but the cracks are beginning to show. Silver looks ready to break out after more than a decade of stagnation. And then came the headline Celente says could change everything. London's bullion market is rolling out a digital form of gold. This is not a small update. It's a revolution in how gold is traded and collateralized. According to Celente, this move could challenge Bitcoin directly because for the first time, investors will have a digital hedge backed by thousands of years of trust. Add in El Salvador boosting its gold reserves by nearly 14,000 ounces, and you have the perfect storm setting up for Q4 2025.
Gold prices in value doubled, not over the last, I said 2 years, I meant over the last 3 years. But this is really serious. We are trying to standardize that digital layer of gold such that the various financial products used in other markets can be used in the gold market going forward. This guy who's the former banker who's the executive of the World Gold Council. So you can have more of this article in your Trends Journal. Very important. Markets are still open. Let's see what's going on. Oh, hey, they're going up. The S&P up 0.6%. NASDAQ up 0.7%. Dow up almost 300 points. You know, on the good news that ADP private payrolls report showed an increase of only 54,000 jobs in August. The Dow, the street people over there thought there would be about over 75,000. And they revised down like they always do. The July number, they only had 106,000. So how come equities went up? Because the Fed's going to lower interest rates. Yeah. How long we've been saying this? So again, it's artificially propping up the equity markets. It's going against where the economy is going. And dragflation is the future. Declining economic growth and rising inflation. Quote, the Federal Reserve's free pass on the labor market has ended, said Jamie Cox, managing partner, Harris Financial. This is according to CNBC. ADP data continues to reinforce the narrative that rate of positive change in the labor market has slowed significantly. So you can expect the Fed to tilt its balance of risks to cut rates in September. No kidding. Jobless claims for the week, they increased 237,000. It's an 8,000 point gain. I guess last week. So tomorrow the job report comes out and expected 75,000 non-farm payrolls. That's about it. That's what they're expecting. Bitcoin's down. It's still trading in 110,000 a coin range. So it's still very strong. Yeah, it's getting weaker, but look where it is. It was 70,000 before Trump got elected, and now it's 110,000. So it's still very strong. Gold's down a bit as we go on the air. It's down about $13, but it's still trading at $3,544 an ounce. It almost hit a couple of days ago, $3,600. Can you imagine? Double the price in 2 years. And again, you go back to your Trends Journal 2024, golden year for gold. Right there. Yep. We've been calling it. We've been right on target with this. And you go back, I call the bottom of gold. It hit around $1,885. It was on King World News. We even had the advertisements that say it. So we've been hitting this thing, and gold prices are just going to go up because the world is so uncertain. And it's only getting worse.
Celente calls London's plan to digitize gold one of the biggest financial shifts in decades. Gold has always been the ultimate safe haven, but adding a digital layer makes it faster, more liquid, and more accessible. He says this will pull in massive institutional money and even threaten Bitcoin's dominance as the only digital alternative to fiat. For the first time, investors will face two forms of digital scarcity, one backed by code, the other by centuries of trust. Silver, which Celente calls the sleeper metal, is also waking up. After years of stagnation, it's flashing bullish targets at $41, $47.60, and even $66 long-term. He believes this isn't just technical momentum. It's a structural repricing fueled by Fed liquidity, stubborn inflation, and global uncertainty. In his words, it's the perfect storm silver bulls have been waiting for. At the same time, equity markets are being propped up by cheap money. Last month's ADP report showed just 54,000 jobs added, far below expectations. But Wall Street cheered because weak data means easier Fed policy. Celente has warned for years that this distortion would define the era. Bad news treated as good news because it guarantees more cheap money. He calls it dragflation, falling growth and rising prices. And with the Fed trapped, he says gold wins either way. Morgan Stanley has now lifted its forecast to $3,800 an ounce for Q4, confirming Celente's view that gold is the #1 safe haven in a world gone off the rails. Gold has already doubled in 3 years, and demand from central banks, ETFs, and retail investors keeps rising. But Celente warns that tariffs on steel, aluminum, and copper will add even more inflationary pressure. Oil, he says, is another wild card. Prices dipped on higher U.S. supply and possible OPEC plus increases, but Celente insists this won't last. Any escalation in the Middle East, especially with Iran, could send oil soaring overnight, dragging inflation with it. He points back to Trump's strike on Iran as proof that volatility like this is now built into the system. Then there's jobs. Nearly 86,000 layoffs last month, almost 892,000 this year, the worst since COVID. Retail alone has cut over 83,000 jobs, up more than 240% from last year. Celente says this collapse in retail and restaurants proves the consumer economy is breaking down. He's been documenting the decline of cultural life for years, and now it's undeniable. People are cutting back, the middle class is shrinking, and the country feels drained. Taken together, Celente believes we're entering the early stages of a reset. Digital gold, silver's breakout, Bitcoin under pressure, Fed cuts, oil volatility, tariffs, and layoffs. They're not isolated events. They're signals of a system that's losing balance and heading toward a dramatic turning point.
Oil prices, they went down because there's supply in the U.S. went up, and OPEC plus producers may increase oil production at next week's meeting. Can you imagine they're going to put more supply than demand? That's how weak the global economy is going, and then they need the dough. So they're going to pump out more oil. That'll bring prices down again. But again, you never know where it's going to go with the Israel war going on. The U.S., will they attack Iran? And if they do, oil prices will skyrocket. Remember when Trump bombed Iran, he did it after the markets closed, did it over the weekend. So it didn't have an effect on the oil prices. And then on Monday, he announced a ceasefire. The Black Plague, 60% of Europe was wiped out. What are we losing? 1% of the population? Layoffs surged, I don't know the exact number, I forgot it. Layoffs surged nearly 40% last month, with employees eliminating nearly 86,000 positions. The largest hit since the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, 2020. That was the height when they locked down everything. That's according to Challenger Gray and Christmas. To date, you ready? Employers have made nearly 892,000, cuts this year. It's the most since the COVID war in 2020 when they launched it. You ready? The retail sector also been hit hard this year. Retailers have eliminated 83,656 jobs this year through August, up 242% from the 24,489 job cuts announced during the same period last year. Down 200. That shows you where the retail sector is going. All right? Again, I've been going out. I go out to get out. I don't eat out that much, but I go to nice places. I like to cook. I have the garden out here, my fresh tomatoes, all my herbs. But anyway, here's what I noticed. Mostly older people in restaurants now. And again, I don't go to fast food shit places. People in their 30s, 40s, don't see many of them. I'm down the city on Labor Day, down to West Village, right in Bleecker, right in the heart of it, sitting outside, 2 hours, nice restaurant, Anton's, very good. And people walking outside, 90% of the people were dressed like shit. No different than where I am up in the country over here, Kingston. Where are you going? The Hudson Valley. All the vibe is gone. And with the vibe going down, that tells you where the spirit of the people are. That's my take on it. And as I say, the only thing that's going to change this is a renaissance. And you need the billionaire's money to make it happen. And here's an article from today's Wall Street Journal. Bitcoin mining company backed by Trump's son surges after listing. Can you believe this shit? Trump's son. If I launch something, you launch something, it doesn't go nowhere. Hey, but I'm Trump's son. It's a fucking crime syndicate. You ready for this? This is at the very end of the article. Ethics lawyers and government watchdogs, shitheads, watchdogs, little puppies, they ain't dogs, have raised concerns related to the president's business interests and family investment in crypto as he loosens regulations on the industry. Remember, this was a Trump that hated Bitcoin before he became president again. This is shit that this is happening in front of everybody's eyes, but that's what the country's turned into. It's a shit show run by shitheads.
So where do you stand? Do you think gold breaks through $3,800 this year, or does it stall first? Is Bitcoin still the ultimate digital hedge, or does a digital form of gold change the game? Can silver really reach $66, or is that just wishful thinking? And when the Fed cuts rates, does it save the economy, or just blow up another bubble waiting to burst? Drop your answers in the comments. I want to hear your take. If this breakdown helped you see the bigger picture, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss Gerald Celente's next forecast. The reset isn't coming. It's already here. Stay sharp, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next video.